this episode of the Stocki Exchange, I talk with two local entrepreneurs. We talk about screen printing, about their marketing, food trucks, and beaches, bonfires, and beers. Right here on this episode of the Stocki Exchange. What's up and welcome to this episode of the Stocki Exchange. Today we have Troy Daly and Lance Hill from many companies Troy's involved in, and Lance is the co-owner of High Five Threads and Forward Inking. So thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Glad you guys could make it. So we're going to get right into it. Today we are going to be talking about marketing, what these guys are doing with their businesses, and mainly focused on being an entrepreneur for marketing. I'm an entrepreneur, and so are these guys. I've done a lot of work with them around town, and it's really interesting to learn and see how their businesses grow and how they're using marketing to support their businesses. So for all of your entrepreneurs out there, hopefully we can give you some ideas of different ways to use the latest and greatest in marketing, how it affects your business, and different tips and tricks to kind of help you use marketing to build up your ideas. So a lot of you guys have maybe started some of your ideas on a cocktail napkin. So what have you done to utilize marketing to take, like, all right, we have this great idea. What do we do now to actually get your businesses to actual functioning things? So I'm sure you guys have thought about designing Forward Inking, which is a printing company,
right,
from your retail store of selling t-shirts and stuff, which you have on.
Exactly.
Now you've moved into, all right, let's do the printing ourselves. So how have you guys used marketing to maybe move into that and make that a business for yourself?
I think for us, I mean, we knew we had a certain demand that nobody in town was meeting, nobody in the area was meeting, for retail branded quality apparel and a lot of unique printing processes like discharge and water-based stuff that the local print shops weren't getting into, and the final touches like sewn hem tags and just these like little like niche stuff. And so nobody was wanting to get into it. So we said, well, there's enough demand here that we're going to bring it in ourselves. And from a retail side, we already had High Five Threads and people knew and loved our product already. So it was easy for them to say, well, if you're doing this, then that's how I want my stuff to look like.
So how are you guys using marketing to attract new clients to the printing company?
So much of that's been word of mouth. I mean, I think, at its core, marketing starts with having your product. If you don't have a good product,
Well, you got a turd, you can still shine it up. It's
exactly.
Still
So having just that great core product and then being able to push that, be able to work with local breweries and who already knew our product, and then how do we, we can tailor your product to be as good or as that. So using USA made products, great printing techniques, and just that focus on quality.
Perfect. So Troy, Troy's the owner of Daily Blends, which is a new food truck here in town, involved in a bunch of other stuff. So how have you guys utilized marketing to really move that idea of, hey, let's start a food truck, which I'm sure a million people have thought about?
Yeah, really just getting out in the community and just talking to people and letting them actually know what it is that we have, and getting it out there and giving them coupons, hanging something in their stores, whatever it is, just so as many people that are in that area can actually see what we have.
Mm-hmm. So I think we focus on marketing, but we've gone back to the basics of marketing.
Right.
Ground marketing, literally just giving something into people's hands, and then word of mouth advertising, which is the best kind that still exists out there. So for you guys, how important is personal branding in the development of the businesses that you're owning, starting, or maybe are planning to own in the future?
I think it's huge. I mean, your personal brand carries with you through everything you do. So, Byron and I had started a company, our first company at 15, and worked through that and built that to be a big entertainment company here in northern Michigan. And then we moved on and moved into getting into High Five Threads and getting into web development and design work on the client level side. We'd already built relationships, and people knew our quality through our personal brand, and that moved into the next realm of what we were doing, and then into combining the design work under Forward Inking. the same thing, just carrying everything you're doing, and you are your biggest marketing tool. So being out in the community, especially a small town like this, making connections. Troy and I have worked a ton on projects together, and so so have we. And it's creating that personal brand of like people know you and know your potential and know what you're capable of. They feel confident working with you then.
Perfect. And Troy, I think it's pretty similar to you.
It's absolutely. It's all about the reputation, all about the relationships that you're creating, and making sure that you can enhance those and continuing to grow them and all the connections that you can make.
Yeah, so I mean, as all entrepreneurs talk, we hope that the more we work and build a good relationship, build a big network, then eventually the business starts coming to you. And that's a hard part for a lot of entrepreneurs who are starting out. That I got this great idea. Why aren't people buying it? Why aren't people doing it? Why aren't people using my services? It's not an overnight success.
No.
As you guys know, it's been multiple years running companies before they start becoming successful. And
most overnight successes take 15 years to happen.
Yeah, and sometimes people get super lucky and they go from hero to zero, but that's usually not sustainable. Those are very fad. They're just riding the wave of something. Well, eventually that's going to go. So building those relationships and building your own personal brand and reputation, I think, is super important. Yeah. So how are you guys using social media to promote your different brands?
I mean, for us, social's been huge. I mean, we're not only a t-shirt company, but we're a Michigan promotions company. We're a tourism company. We're all this wrapped into one by being a Michigan t-shirt brand. So from day one, we focused a lot on social, and it's just word of mouth on steroids when it comes down to what social media is. It's a tool. And so, we've garnered a pretty large following on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and really just push those channels to be able to communicate with our customers. If they have questions, we're able to answer them right away. It's that two-way conversation.
Yeah, so I think that's a big kind of pitfall or downfall that certain people have, like, oh, we got to be on social media, we got to be on, and then we're just like pushing out information, pushing, and it's got to be the not the communication, but the conversation. It's not just yelling at people, it's asking questions and then responding to people in real time. That's the benefit of it.
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword,
yeah,
because sometimes you get a tweet at 2 o'clock in the morning and people expect a response right away, and you're like, well, I'm sleeping, dude.
Right.
So it's like when you're a smaller company, it's still a lot of that work falls onto you.
Yeah.
And you don't have a huge team sometimes to manage every aspect of it.
Right.
So Troy, with your companies, what are you guys focusing on?
We do a lot, really. It's just to get that relevant information out there and just being able to communicate with everybody. With all the different businesses, it is really hard to continue those connections, but it's the easiest way, to reach that amount of people in such a small amount of really effort.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest successes is the Paddle for Pikes event that you run.
Yeah.
I've done a ton of those over this summer, and you launched the dates, you posted it out. MLive did an article on it on Facebook, and I think by 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, there was already a few thousand shares of that article.
Right, yeah.
And I'm sure you received many, many emails, telephone calls, and bookings because of that. So
absolutely.
It's a really awesome way to get
media.
a ton of information out to a mass amount of people very quickly.
Right.
Yep.
So we touched on a little bit, how much are you guys doing in terms of investing your marketing efforts locally versus online or people away from this area?
I mean, ours is probably a 50-50 mix on local focused advertising and statewide advertising, because we have our online store. So we've shipped to all 50 states, 8 countries. So we put a certain amount of money into just local focused advertising. That in-room hotel channels in the local hotels has been great for us, because it's that real focus. It drives people to our retail stores. But then in the same token, we put money into Facebook advertising and some other like statewide publications that will get out there, because that drives people to our online store.
Yep.
So getting that mix right for how our brand is used has been kind of crucial for us.
And in terms of the print development side, how far are you guys garnering clients from outside of the area?
We've done some work for some clients in Texas, a couple other out of state clients, but mostly Grand Rapids and up.
Perfect. And Troy?
I would say that a lot of the marketing we do is probably outside of the area, just because all my businesses are really tourist-based businesses. So we really have to get outside of the area and really get them here and in. So I would say it's about 80-20 with all the businesses. So
Perfect. What's the next big marketing trend on your radar that you're like, I want to do this, or I don't have time for this, but this is, if I had extra time, this is what I would do right now?
I mean, I think instant broadcast video is obviously something that's caught on quickly, and we finally have the bandwidth and tools to do that, like Meerkat and Periscope. And we haven't played a ton with it. We're starting to get into it a little bit and do some more research, and just haven't had time to fully invest in. But I think that's where you're going to see the next wave of things come up. Is we can do video now and easily and immediately. And so that conversation now is not just text-based back and forth, it's video-based back and forth. And I think you're going to see quickly two-way conversation within that. So,
for those of you at home who don't know, Periscope and Meerkat are live broadcast streams of anything that you just put up on your phone. And I could have one up here right now. This is what we're doing, is recording a show of the Stocki Exchange. And then other people can chime in, they can text, and they can ask questions. And that's as immediate of a response as you could possibly get with anyone throughout the world. Double-edged sword as well. You need the time and effort and ability and skills to do that. And you need to build a following in it. I mean, there's a lot of people using it, but if you have to tell people that you're using it. It's not just like magically turn it on one day and all of a sudden.
Yeah, and a tool that you use is only as good as the customer base that uses it. So us jumping into a tool just because it's new and latest, greatest thing doesn't mean our customers are there. So
that's also a big thing. A lot of business owners are like, oh, we have to be on Twitter, we have to be on Instagram. You don't have to. There's a lot of opportunity, potential out there. But if your market is 65-year-old women, you probably don't need to be on Periscope.
No, you need to be on Facebook.
Exactly. So understanding the differences of social media channels, understanding their benefits and their target markets is very, very important to learning about what investments you want to make in certain channels.
Exactly.
And Troy, if you had 10 grand right now?
Probably more into video branding, really getting what my businesses are, who they are, who's behind it, what we do, and really getting that out to the customer in a small amount of time.
Okay. And with all those efforts, how important to you guys are you focusing on mobile first mentality?
It's huge. Mobile's no longer second screen, it's first screen. I mean, when you're watching TV, your first priority is your phone or your iPad. What's on TV has actually become now the less important thing. So all of our websites are mobile optimized. A number of our sales from the online store come in through mobile channels. A lot of our social media efforts are really geared towards people seeing it on seeing it on mobile.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, everything's mobile. Everything has to be. That's where we get probably 80% of our business and orders, and online is who's ever on the mobile.
On the mobile app. Cool. Don't miss a single episode of the Stocki Exchange Show. Visit the Stocki Exchange Facebook page, like our page, hover over the like button, and click Get Notifications and See First to never miss out on a show or post. So this is the part of the show where I ask these guys one question. So it's a one-word answer. I designed the question pretty poorly, so it's not going to be a one-word answer this time. But if I get each of you 10 grand right now to spend on marketing, what would be the first thing that you would do with it? So we'll say one sentence answer this time.
I think I actually answered this earlier. I would probably create video brandings of all my businesses so people actually know what they are without trying to explain it via words or whatever it is. Creating a awesome video of this is what it is.
Cool.
Yeah, I think ours is a combination of a little bit more on the web development side and video, because that's a great way to video's a great way to get your message across right now, and So
In a very quick, short,
exactly.
Right.
consistent way
Yeah.
every single time, and it reflects your brand and everything that goes with it. So this is the point of the show. This is Stocki Exchange, where these guys can ask me questions about things that they have about marketing, and I can give them some kind of answer. It could be good, could be bad. You never know. So don't all shoot at
You can
once.
go, you go.
Man,
Yeah.
what would be your focused efforts on B2B marketing with a limited budget?
For what type of? Give me an industry, something.
We'll say screen printing.
Screen printing.
Yeah.
I think in this area, the personal connections are going to do you really, really well. Word of mouth advertising transfers, and like you said, there's a gap in the market for it already. You just need to find where those people are doing it. SEO would be huge. Online, people typing in screen printing company, Traverse City. Like, if you can come up in the first one, it's pretty simple. Do the research, find out search traffic. If there's enough there to garner making an investment, just beat everyone digitally is going to be huge. Then your relationships, continue building those. But if you could beat them digitally, it's a huge capture market for you automatically. And I think sponsorships of different, so kind of correlating both of your brands together, I think will work really well. Like you said, transferring the quality of one of your products automatically goes to another service or product that you offer has worked really well. I think continuing that blend, kind of cross-promoting, and same thing for Troy, cross-promoting all of the services that you offer with the same quality and management and services. It garners already like a good feeling about the next thing that you're launching. I think works really well.
Cool. Still trying to think of one, but I guess what's your insight on social engine optimization, so SEO stuff?
SEO is tough.
Yeah, I know.
So I think there's two-part answer. So SEO is the long game. It's going to take longer. It's organic. The number one thing to affect that is content marketing. It's getting good content out there in the proper channels that is proper quality. People want to consume it. It's not just, so you have to have a blog, you have to have like all those, the check marks of I'm on social, but if you're not getting any interaction with them, they're not super helping you. So it's better to have a really good, concise content marketing plan for 2 or 3 channels and just really be awesome with those instead of trying to do 35 of them. And then hire an SEO person to understand Google's language. It changes every 6 weeks.
Right.
The latest and greatest as a small business owner of operating everything, hiring, managing, chef, pot washer, everything. You can't keep up with it, and you're going to waste too much of your time doing it than it is just to hire a professional who can do it in 1/10 of the time and give you better, quicker results. Short term, SEM. Just do some search engine marketing. Find the keywords that you want to focus on. Figure out how much it's going to cost you for client acquisition other ways. Invest the money into that and get the money back out. So that'll help you in short term, and keep up with that as seasonality changes, as search terms. No one's searching for boat rentals in the middle of December in Traverse City. So you probably shouldn't be paying for an SEM campaign in December for that.
Right.
So really understanding that and talking to someone about the bidding system and understanding how those investments work. So SEM in the short game, and then understanding the things that you as business owners can affect via SEO, which is your blog content, your social content, and then the on-page or back-end part of your website content. Let a professional person write that for how it needs to be written, would be my big recommendation.
Awesome. Cool.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Thank you guys at home for watching.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, we are going to be doing some giveaways this show. Forgot about that. So High Five Threads brought in some stuff here. We're going to give away some koozies, some glasses, a little beach bag here, and I think there's some other goodies in there. So to be entered into the drawing today, go to our website, my website, StockiExchange.com. Right now, you're on your phone. Pull it up. Bloop, bloop. StockiExchange.com. We'll put the URL on the website here. You guys can check out the show notes. We're going to give you links to all these guys' website, all their social media channels. So check out the things that they're working on and enter into the show. giveaway. And stay tuned for the next show next week. You guys have any other questions?
Oh, good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Well,
having
thanks
us.
guys for having me on the show. And we will see you next week for the next episode of the Stocki Exchange.